Welcome everyone to another edition of Holding Court. I'm Don Heath.
And I'm Rich McGowan. Thanks so much for coming back to us for another edition of Holding Court. Don, it was certainly an exciting, thrilling week of high school basketball action last week.
Absolutely. Huge crowd at Groves High on Friday night for the Rebels game against Savannah High. Rebels won that game, but then just 3 days later, they fall against the Johnson Adams Smashers in a huge upset.
Huge upset.
Yeah. In fact, the other day I went over to Johnson High to talk to Coach Philip Filyaw.
Say that one more time.
Philip Filyaw.
Philip Filyaw.
Sounds like there's one too many P's in there, but
it's good alliteration though.
It's very tough to say too. But Coach knows his basketball at least.
Yes, he does.
And he actually talked about the ball game on Tuesday.
Coach, glad that you could be with us. How were you able to pull off such a big upset against the Rebels?
Well, as of lately, since the new year started, our team is actually starting to play together a lot better, and just the confidence has picked up. You know, we're starting to gel, and ain't really much more I can tell you. We basically did the fundamental things. We boxed out, we rebounded, we didn't allow them to beat us on the offensive boards, and we just made them play smart. They had to use their head. We played that 2-3 zone packed it in. They weren't knocking down many outside shots.
Yeah, 4-0 to start the new year here. What's been the turnaround?
A miracle.
A miracle.
It's a miracle. No, I don't. It's just got to be chemistry.
Don, Johnson's win certainly took me by surprise. What does this do for the region? It really tightens it up.
Yeah, 3 teams now in the region all have just 1 loss. Grove still has the lead, 5-1, but now Johnson and Savannah High are tied at 4-1. So it's tight there at the top spot.
Absolutely.
While on the girls' side, the Beach Bulldogs look like they're running away.
Yeah, it's just the opposite over on the girls. Beach got a couple big victories this last weekend, Saturday. They had a very solid showing against Camden County, led from start to finish. Then Tuesday night against Bradwell Institute, the Bulldogs overcame an awful, I mean terrible, second quarter. But they were down 15 at halftime, responded very well in the third quarter, ended up taking an 11-point victory, and now they have a full 1-game lead over their next closest competitors in the region. So Beach is
26-point swing. What a turnaround!
Oh, it really was as bad as they played in the second quarter, and it was bad. They played just as well in the third quarter and fourth quarter, and really took over that game. It was impressive. It was an impressive turnaround.
What do we have going on this week?
Well, the marquee game, I think, comes on the girls' side when the number 6 team in Class A, Padilla Suburban School out of Atlanta, travels to Savannah Country Day Friday night to face the Hornets, the number 3 ranked team in the state. These 2 teams will meet Friday night, and this week I caught up with girls coach Dale Parker to talk about this interesting non-region matchup. All right, I'm out here today at Savannah Country Day with girls coach Dale Parker. Coach, you have Padilla coming in, a private school from Atlanta, ranked number 9 in the state. Beyond that, how much does your team know about them? What do you have to be aware of come Friday night?
Well, I think for one, they have a great tradition. They played for the AA state championship last year against Wesleyan, and they're very well coached. I've known their coach for years, and he does a great job. And they also have a lot of size inside that I'm not sure we match that well with.
I wanted to ask about that. They've got 2 girls, 5'11", a third girl who's 5'10". And you're not the biggest team in the world. How do you combat size in the post?
Well, we hope we can do that with our quickness and putting a lot of pressure on the ball outside and making their guards have to handle it and hopefully make it a little more difficult for them to get it inside.
You know, even if the teams don't have a lot of history, it's always fun to see how teams match up with one another, top teams from the state.
Absolutely, no question about it. And this one should be a lot of fun. Country Day is, of course, led by their quartet of starting seniors.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, no kidding. Catherine Dotson, Caitlin Hilliard, Melissa Burkhammer, Blake Stafford, lots of experience there. But as we heard in the video, Padilla has a lot of size in the post, and it'll be very interesting to see how Country Day matches up against that size. I think that'll be the key in this game. And Padea, on the other hand, comes into this game with a 9-6 record, which may not sound the best in the world, but of those 6 losses down, 4 came to teams playing in Class 4 or 3A, and the other 2 losses came to the #1 team in the state, Wesleyan, and another state-ranked team, Holy Innocents. So Padea is a very strong team. And another thing to remember, Saturday night, Padea stays in town, and they'll face defending state champions Calvary Day. So it'll be a very interesting week as far as girls' games go.
Yeah, good week to see how our top girls teams are going to match up with the top team in the state.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you this: a Country Day victory over Padea, what does that mean? Does that make them, say, a pretender or contender for a Final Four showing at state?
Well, I think Country Day, you have to say contender. I mean, they went to the Final Four 2 years ago with a bunch of sophomores. Last year they went to the Elite Eight, and so they've got a lot of big game experience. They've got a lot of senior leadership who's going to be very driven to go as far as they possibly can in their last year in a Hornet uniform. Another thing you have to take into consideration is the fact that Country Day is playing a pretty good schedule this year. They'll play a couple games at least with Calvary Day. They'll play Padea. They've already played against Holy Innocents, who they defeated a little while ago. And while they may not be on the elite level yet, Jenkins County is a much improved team, and they'll be right there with Country Day and Calvary in the region. So come playoff time, this Country Day team is going to be very well seasoned for a long postseason run. So I'm saying contender.
Sounds like it's going to be a pretty good region tournament.
Oh, absolutely. It's one I'm really looking forward to. All right, now it's your turn to be on the spot. Johnson's victory over Groves the other night certainly took me by surprise. What does this mean for the region? Are they a region pretender, or are they now a contender?
Well, they're 6-6 on the season, so you naturally would say pretender, right? Lucky victory over Groves, but I'm not too sure. They play a good 2-3 zone defense. They have a lot of kids that were back. They won the region tournament last year. They have a solid squad, and they're getting better and better as the year goes on. They started the season playing Statesboro twice and Liberty County. Those were the first 3 games of the season for them. And you know, that'll test you a little bit. And even though they came out with 3 losses, since they started the new year, they're 4-0, and I think they may be a contender for the region tournament.
And so since those first 3 games, they've won 6 of their last 9 games then.
And a big thing about Johnson is they held Groves to 47 points. That's their best defensive effort of the season. And
holding Groves to 47 points, that's a yeoman's job right there.
Yes, it is. All right, and I've got another one for you, Mr. McGowan.
All right.
Calvary Day.
Yes.
For the state championship, contender or pretender?
To repeat?
Do I need to repeat myself? Is that what you're saying?
As far as, well, obviously whenever you're
contender or pretender, state championship.
Well, they're definitely a contender. Anytime you're the defending state champions, you're a contender. There's no doubt. But are they the favorite? I will have to say probably not, and that's because of Wesleyan. They're the defending state 2A champions, but they dropped down a class to single A, and they retain their best player from last year, Anne-Marie Armstrong. And this girl is a beast. She is 6'3", she can move, she can ball handle, she can shoot. She's the total package. And if you don't believe me, you can ask Savannah Christian, because she single-handedly bounced them last year in the Class 2A semifinals. I mean, this girl is very good, and so is Katie Covington, Calvary's star post player. But I don't think Katie has ever seen a player quite like Anne-Marie Armstrong. So as talented as Calvary Day is, and I think by March they'll be better than the team they were last year. But I think the road to a second straight state championship goes through Wesleyan. Riddle me this, Don, for one more boys question. Let's move to Hinesville for a second. Liberty County, the Panthers, they're 13-1. They're ranked number 3 in Class AAA. State championship for the Panthers, contender or pretender?
State championship.
State championship.
Final Four sounds about right for the Panthers. They're 13-1 right now.
It's state championship, not Final Four. Are you saying pretender for a championship?
I'm revising your question. I'm not sure I'd go all the way with the state championship, but Final Four, I would say they're a contender for the Final Four, if that's the question you're asking.
So you're saying pretender to a championship. You heard it from Don Heath. Liberty County's a pretender. He just doesn't have the guts to say it.
All my fans out there at home, I'd like to say that I picked them for the Final Four. 13-1, they're playing very well right now. They beat Washington County, which is a top 10 team. in the region, their top region competition. They only lost by 1 point to McIntosh County. Jordan McCray, one of the top players, already verbally committed to Tennessee. I'm going with contender for the Final Four.
Both of your fans in Hinesville will be very disappointed.
All right, that's enough pretending that we actually know what we're talking about here. Right? Thanks for watching Holding Court with Rich and Don. I'm Don Heath.
And I'm Rich McGowan. We'll see you next week right here at savannahnow.com/prepcentral. Thanks for watching.